Yes. Yeah. So anyway, here we are. We are here again. We're back on. Right? We're back on, you know. Give thanks. Because no matter how, you know, the word song of it get out. Yeah, man. So we shall continue discussing these matters because it's very important, it's very critical. And sorry for losing you, those of you that have, you know, were lost right now in terms of the computer cutting this program out and so on and so forth. But we are here again, and we want to continue discussing our agenda versus the fear-based agenda that's actually being pushed by Babylon. And this is no agenda. This is our liberty. We try our best to uplift the community, keep everyone strong in terms of culture, in terms of Rastafari, in terms of our ancestral presence at this moment in time, and how it is critical for us as Rastafari to continue to do the work of the King, which is unify the people, bring forward a sense of commitment to the cause of spirituality, and also to develop an organizational body where we can always communicate clearly as to what our intentions are, how we can improve the Virgin Islands community, and what we can do to sustain such great works throughout time, where we can set a template for the younger generation, because we love our people. Truly we do. We truly love our people, so it is imperative that we continue to work. Give thanks and praise for that. So I will let Ras Bobby and Basali, as a matter of fact, I will let Basali continue with the reasonment on ways that we can improve Rastafari within the Virgin Islands community. Thanks.
Once again to all the community, to the people who are there listening, wherever you may be globally, internationally, we give thanks for your listening ear. For what the eye see, the heart know, and what the ear hear, the heart know it also. So we are here having this reasonment. We know it's only natural for Rasta to reason. We say Rasta don't really preach, you know.
Yes.
But we reason one to another. We reason in ways that we can better ourselves in our community as a people that are being looked at as a cultural people. We have to preserve the culture, we have to preserve ourselves. And in that, we also have to go and, you know, do the work that is necessary in building a community. When you're building a community, we also know that it takes economics. So we as a people have to be more economical savvy, be more educated when it comes to economics, you know, inflation and deflation and all these things, because we see that we are out there working for the same dollar. We don't have to use the same money where everybody else uses. But in reality, we are not rich people when it comes to the physical wealth. We are rich people in truth and in spirituality. But we know that as a collective people, if we pool our resources and we come together and put a dollar a post, a dollar a man, a dollar a woman, right now, globally as black man and black woman, we know how much we could achieve. We could have a couple millions of dollars. We want to achieve a school, a hospital. We want to achieve homes for the elderly, our own healthcare center, dealing with holistic healing and so on. With all these things, it's going to take economics and skills and wise mind. And we give thanks for the brothers who are pioneers at this moment, you know, like our brother Heru at this moment, you know, in the motherland. A great inspiration to us all, you know, that we could see the works that one man can do. or even 2 man can do, or 3 man can do, so then 10 man can do it greater. We give thanks to our brethren Timmy, you know, dwelling in the land of Tanzania, saying,
Big up Timmy there.
yes, man, anyway, you're them, my brother.
Yes, sir.
You know, we give thanks for these brothers, these pioneers that sit up amongst us, and many more brethren and sisters that we have that have tried to the motherland and established themselves. We give thanks, you know, for being a part of this community and for the support that the community have given us. You know, the people who in the community have truly embraced us as Rasta and have given us the opportunities to be ourselves. When you genuinely get to know a Rasta, we would pray that you genuinely get to know that godly nature, that peaceful side of a Rasta man or a Rasta woman, you know.
Sure, no.
After 400 years of slavery and brutality, we ourselves are healing. So we don't want to come in and seem that we're posing off ourselves to anyone that we're high and mighty. But what we're saying is, we're all in the same boat together. Whether you is Rasta, whether you is Seventh-day Adventist, Anglican, whether you is Hebrew, Jew, Israelite, you know, it's one fullness that we all have to come to. And we realize that when we even chant the Ethiopian anthem, which is very critical to understand what we say, Ethiopia, the land of our fathers and mothers, the land where all gods and goddesses love to be. By thee a swift cloud of might is gathered, most high God Almighty, Amlak children are gathered to thee. We are the people that was spoken about as the apple of the Most High's eye, you know, as the Most High's peculiar treasure. We have a duty and a responsibility as Rastafari in our community. One of the things is that Rastafari, in many ways, have preserved our African culture through the diaspora. You know, one of the only, you know, movement coming out of the motherland that still today exists, because they have crushed and killed out many of our movement and spiritual work of life. Now this Nyabingi, as we know it, is not a man thing. Nyabingi is representation of the queen, a queen, Nyabingi in Rwanda, who fought against the British Empire.
Yeah!
Anyone who knows the history of Nyabingi would know Nyabingi, the theocratic reign of Nyabingi. Foundation started in Africa. Okay? So what we're saying is, you could take a man out of Africa, but you can't take the Africa out of the man.
Yeah!
You know? We have been separated from our culture, our language, our way of eating, our way of dressing, you know, our principles and our morals. And we have been brought out of ourselves in the Western world and victimized, and to the point where after the victimization, we now are displaying a lot of these characteristics and ways that were forced upon us in slavery, whether you're Rasta or not. So we as Rasta come say, well, we have to take check in ourselves first, you know, before we point the finger at anybody and tell anybody, well, take the beam out of your eye, you know, or that we better than you, you know, or we don't eat better than you, or we don't pray better than you. What we're saying is, we are a peace-loving people, and we are seeking to find that peace amongst ourselves first. So it is an international call to Rastafari, brethren and sisters, wherever you're there in the globe, to come together collectively, seek to find ways and means to educate oneself, to disseminate information one to another, so the information could go around in a full circle, because sometimes you may not be able to depend on these devices. So what will be our means of communication? If it's 50,000 of us or 100,000 of us, how will we communicate? This is what Rastafari just tell you about the endocrine system with chakra. give thanks, for His Imperial Majesty, born July 23rd, 1892. We know that this summer solstice has just begun, so the heat is on. We know that the Dogon tribe in Mali on July 20th, regardless of if you're a Rasta man or not, because we're not trying to convert anyone or tell anyone they have to be Rasta like us or wear locks or any of these things. But we're saying, even the heavens declare the glory on July 23rd, 1892, even on up to this present day from then until now, where the Dogons do the dance of the stars, like the heavens, the constellations. Every July 23rd.
Wow. The same day the Emperor
The
born.
same day. We know the charismaticness of the Emperor because he was born during that time. And we would like to address any nation or any government who have went and scandalized and spread malicious rumors about the death of the Emperor Haile Selassie on August 25th, 1975, stating that the Emperor was strangled, suffocated, held captive in his own palace by Meriam Mengistu, a face dictator. We want to address them and we want to say that they will be held accountable for this malicious lie that they have told against Rastafari.
Yeah, even the Romans call His
Yes.
Majesty a despot and all kind of nonsense.
Yes, we're taking care of these matters because we know that this malicious lie and this rumor was spread once again to try to separate and fragment the movement of Rastafari.
Yeah.
They have no evidence of the death of Emperor Haile Selassie.
You never see the Emperor facing no coffin and
If
shit.
Epstein is still alive, they had no funeral for Epstein. Don't tell me about Haile Selassie.
Yeah!
I ain't want to hear it because you can't prove no death of Epstein. Why you want to say I could prove the death of Haile Selassie and go running out your mouth with all kind of scandal? Because Rasta people have a way of living and they have a God too. But we never tell the world as extremists they have to praise our God. His Majesty said we are all spiritual kin, and that we must learn to live in love with one another, regardless of what faith we may be. So we have to learn to tolerate those of other faiths,
Sure.
So we as Rastafari is a peaceful, loving people. I don't know nobody else more peace and loving than a real Rasta man and a real Rasta woman. Not an infiltrator or just someone that is wearing locks or someone that just walks around and say, "Ja." It's deeper than that. We're here as a collective in the Virgin Islands saying that what we're doing now is nothing new under the sun, stars, and moon. But what we're doing is taking the initiative at this moment to do what is right for the Emperor, for ourselves, for our nation, for our people,
That's right.
for our community,
That's right.
where we're at presently, where you could reach out to us. We're not stars on TV. We are people right in the community. We have not hidden ourselves because we have not done any wrong. We have not fought against any government. We are not extremists.
Yeah, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things there.
And a rebel.
That the Rastafari movement is part of a nation.
Aye.
So it's not a religion.
Aye.
So Rastafari movement recognizes that the purpose of our living is to be healed. So as you rightfully pointed out, a little while ago, that we ourselves going through healing. And that is a very powerful thing in terms of the Nyabingi. The Nyabingi gives you the opportunity to meditate collectively. as we focus our energy on the drum and our breathing and the chanting that we're doing and the songs that we're singing. So we become one-pointed. Our minds, all of it come together as one, thinking the same thought. Oh, when Rastafari get ready, they got to move. They got to move. They got to move. And even for those international people, you recognize, even within the reggae, there is this do good, do, the heartbeat, do. Even the scriptures talk about meditate on your hand. So this Nyabingi movement is a meditation movement. So it's not that we're saying every Nyabingi warrior is perfect, but what we're saying is that the Nyabingi experience gives you the opportunity to purify the mind. You see, and once the mind is purified with the total Ital concept of consuming Ital regularly, through that meditative movement, you get the opportunity to raise the Kundalini. Here comes the chakra system again. I want the brothers and sisters out there to know that we're going to be dealing also about information relating to our sacrament. The cannabis sativa, the cannabis indica, the most controversial plant on the planet. As we know, it's 40% of the GDP of America depends on drugs. So we know what kind of fight that we're going to have to fight. But Rastafari, I just want you to know that if you can use a plant per day, not by smoking, but by blending, this experience can heal any condition that you have. That is what they know about the powers of cannabis sativa, cannabis indica. This plant is full of cannabinoids. Long time Rastafari tell them so. So many youths gone to jail as a result of this. And so we keep telling you that Rastafari is within the considering the reality of repair. Because reparations for this. In Antigua, in St. Vincent, in Jamaica, the Rastafari movement have been allowed to freely use the herb. Nayora and myself went to Antigua months ago and sat right in a ganja field where thousands of plants were being planted, sanctioned by the government of Antigua. Why can't it be the same case? Why can't it be the same in the Virgin Islands? Why can't it be the same in the USVI? They've considered the situation of repair that is needed for I and have decided that they will allow Rastafari to be an integral part of the cannabis trade. Shops in St. Thomas, shops in St. Croix selling cannabinoid products. Rastafari ought to be allowed to do this legally. Rastafari ought to be allowed to industrialize cannabis legally. Scripture talked about it long time ago. Rastafari telling them about this long time ago, about this great herb of renown. The Bible talk about it. Which other herb can it be? The herb of renown, where everywhere, all over the world, people use this freely. We stand in solidarity with the ethnic movements of the world and the untouchables of India. Yeah, you Indian people tend to discriminate against the untouchables with their pure caste system. We want you to know that the same situation has been bestowed onto Rastafari. We remember our brother Kobe from Barbados, a nuclear engineer who was executed on the beach in Barbados. And the judge's judgment, the judge's comment afterwards was that he died from a misadventure. Imagine they murder this youth on the beach, police officers. They're talking about George Floyd or Floyd George, whatever his name is. Condolences to the brother and to the family, of course. But what about Kobe? What about all those Rasta people they killed on site in Dominica years ago? The main churches in Dominica knew who Rastafari was, because Rastafari was in Jamaica many years before. So they knew what Rastafari stood for. But some imposters decided that as a result of our stance, they made it law to eliminate Rastafari on site, and up to now the laws are on the books. The notorious dread laws of Dominica. You understand? So many of our people, how many families have been mashed up, broken, children gone astray as a result of daddy not there because daddy in the jail because he had a little spliff or a seed in his pocket. Oh, how much wickedness they've bestowed unto I and I. So I and I must stand for our liberty right now. This is a time to heal. And so the healers will come on that day. And what we have to remember as a nation, we have to consider the whole sociological circle. Our culture, our family, our agriculture, our security, our liberty.
Right. And racists must move to action. Because what you find is that when you go to many places where Rastafari people are, a lot of the time there's a lot of reasonment. See? But even this, what we're doing now, is an ongoing project, is a lifetime project, where every 21 days we want to reason and we want to disseminate information. But at the same time, what we're trying to do is create a new paradigm of organization for racists. This is what Total Ital is about. Total Ital is about the organizational aspect of Rastafari, right? And how we can come together and disseminate information and share information as well. One of the brothers that's online, and I really want to thank him for the questions that he's been asking. He's saying, what are the recommended steps to take to get back into the right mind? It's a broad question, but just a question for those who find themselves not as spiritually strong in these times. And this is from Los F. What are the recommended steps to take to get back into the right mind? Well, let me answer that. Forget the matrix for a moment. Empty the mind. How do you empty the mind? You don't try to, you sit still first and foremost. I think that's the first thing that a human being has to do. To recognize the glory of life. And that's why I respect Sadhguru and the gurus of India, because they speak about this power. There is nothing more powerful or more sweet than sitting with self, closing one's eyes, allowing thoughts to go in and out until there's a time when the mind is empty. Don't try to control the thoughts, because the thoughts are separate. When thoughts come into the mind, it doesn't mean that you are those thoughts, but it means that you are a receptor for thoughts. So good and bad things come in, right? And this is where critical thinking and now right action come in, because when there is a negative thought, you have to run it. You have to chase it away. When there's a good thought, you have to keep it. But sometimes whatever thoughts may come in and out the mind, remember that it is not you necessarily. And that's the key, to remember that it is not you necessarily that are those thoughts. Those thoughts are coming in, right? Sometimes as an invasion or as a blessing. But you should have the ability to empty your mind, to empty your body, right? By sitting still. How often do we sit still? When was the last time you sit still for an hour? Just closing your eyes or keeping your eyes open. But sit still and try to be patient with oneself. This is the first thing that you have to do, because this is the art of meditation. You have to empty the mind. Like when I close my eyes right now, I'm seeing little things, little color spectrums and so on and so forth, which is what I pay more attention to than the matrix and the physical world. Because when I close my eyes, I see complete darkness, but at the same time, it's complete light. See? So it's to understand that the darkness, right, that you see is still light because it's nothingness. Everything came from nothingness. But nothingness is something. Nothingness is the intelligence of the universe. Nothingness is the power and the glory of God given to us, right? But sometimes we go and we search, we look for things outside the self, but we still have to keep within the self, and that's why emptying the mind is good. So after you empty the mind, you have to put something healthy in the body. So you might want to read something positive to uplift you, right? And you will want to eat alkaline. So when we talk about, and this is a clarification that I have to make, when we speak about Ital, what we are speaking about is alkaline foods, right? Like an alkaline battery gives you energy, it produces power, it's the same thing, right? Now, it is imperative for us to know that the black woman, right? Because she's the foundation, she is a charge. She's a receptacle of power. She's a walking entity of power that exists in creation. And that's why even the Tai Chi masters speak about the Tao and you utilizing our energy. Sometimes you don't have to release. Sometimes we can take it up to the pineal gland and use that power and utilize that energy. You utilize that sexual energy as power. So I think that to elevate oneself, there's a level of sexual discipline as well. And a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters, this is where the crux of life is at. How can we utilize our sexual energy to our benefit and be more creative and become more energetic? And this is a journey that I'm on personally, trying to find ways in which I could take my sexual energy and do different things with it. All right, because that energy is always there within us as well. So activating oneself is the key. And always trying to remember that we are ones that have the ability to activate the 1.4 volts of energy within each cell, right? So we go to ones even outside of the precisely. Our essence is one and the same. So let me talk about Nikola Tesla, which was a so-called scientist that tapped into the energy grid of creation, depending on certain locations within the universe and so on and so forth. Tesla is saying, and the ancients are saying, that every inhalation, every breath, has the energy to light up the whole east coast of America. Just one breath. The energy within one breath. The energy within the invisibility of creation is enough energy to light up the whole east coast of America. So which means that if you have trillions of cells within your body and each cell there is 1.4 volts of energy, it means that through meditation, through consistent discipline, through prayer, exercise, devotion to our ancestors, consistently. And this is what I told Janine as well. Big up Janine, Chronix, protege the whole of it. I urge Janine to say, it's two words I have. One word I have for you, my sister. Or two words, discipline and consistency. I passed on that word to Sister Janine because I respect her as an artist and what she does and what she represents and how she carries herself and so on and so forth. So discipline and consistency is imperative. See? One breath of energy could light up the whole east coast of America. So which means that those 1.4 volts within each cell, if you are activated through spiritual discipline, you can become the activated man. You can open up your third eye. But everyone wants to act like it's such a big secret. But the only secret to achieving this is discipline. Discipline is the secret. So when you're disciplined, you are able to achieve many great things. And slowly it will rise. There are times when you might have some sort of fictional experiences that may be very, even if you're by yourself, you may have a euphoric experience because of that discipline. So this is how you unlock the code. You only unlock the code through spiritual discipline. This is why I love the priests, This is why I love, Brother Haile Israel, who who is who is with us here, right? At the same time, even if he's not physically here. That's why I respect Bobo Ashanti. I respect the priest. So I want to big up Brother Speedy, Ras Speedy. I want to big up Brother Ayman. I want to big up Ras Bassa, Ambassador 7 and family. Because these are some of the brothers within the community that hold the priestly order and have showed us the importance of discipline. So I want to give thanks, to Bobo Ashanti. I want to give thanks to Nyabingi. And again, like Brother Bassa said, Nyabingi, out of Nyabingi, remember Nyabingi was a indigenous African woman, goddess, that was able to reach that point of activation through discipline and was able to have powers, beyond the physical, and was able to stamp down and crush a whole army. And this is documented, by the way. Look up Empress Nyabingi and see the power of that goddess right there. So activate yourselves by spiritual discipline, by recognizing that the elements are also our friends that have power beyond just something to look at. Because what's a rock really? A rock holds memory. A rock is powerful. What's water? What's fire? What are these elements? What is the power behind these elements? So this is what we have to learn. We have to learn to keep our body pure, our minds clear, so our spirits can fly. Ailei, Selassie, Rastafari. Brother Bassa.
They give thanks again, Nigel.
Yeah, man.
The reality is discipline of the mind, is a basic ingredient to genuine morality, and therefore it has spiritual strength. We live in a time where a lot of influences abound, So every human is being tested, spiritually, mentally, and to pass these tests is not to like you pass in an exam in school, It's an everyday practice, a practice make perfect, It's not just something you will just wake up and just do automatically, but it's something that's already in you, that you already know, that you already have, that you already possess. That you can't find it outwardly, you can only find it inwardly. So it requires a search of oneself, doing an inquiry, There is nothing wrong with asking yourself or the God within yourself and reasoning to that God within yourself. So we give thanks because we realize that through the tests and the trials, it's like gold going through the fire, It's like being tried in the furnace 7 times, And all of us walking that path and going through that life where, we have to overcome these things in our human nature and become more spiritual and enlightened as we try through by having the teachings of the spiritual enlightened gurus that have walked the earth and come amongst us. Many of them that have gone. So we have a duty and a responsibility, every individual, to live up to the expectation of the Most High, not the expectation of the woman next to you, the man next to you, or the crowd, but the expectation of the Most High, That is our truest assurance that we have in the Most High. Give thanks.
Yes, what I will want to say is that we're going to take one more break, and then after that we will seal up. We will seal up with a quick reasonment. Also, we're going to once again repeat our intention of having a Virgin Islands Rastafari Conference on July 23rd, which is within about a month. We have 4 weeks. So we are inviting all races, within the Virgin Islands to come forward, spread the word as to our intentions. We humble ourselves to, the elders. Let's go.
Just to add to what Naira is saying, one of the first days is something we really want to do that is very important to us and very deep in our hearts, like Ras Babi mentioned earlier, selfless service. So we also have part of the 3-day program. And the first day, we're supposed to go to the Lucille and Milena home.
Jano.
We're supposed to be able to take a healthy meal to the elders and to the people in that community, in that elderly home, you know. This is very dear to our heart because the reality is the elders have to be cared for. You know, the orphans have to be cared for. The homeless, the sick, the hungry, you know. And when you humble yourself in life enough to realize that in this time now that we're living in, we have to question ourselves and say, what do we have to share with our community? As a collective, as a people, you know, standing as a nation. And in that, we're just going to give a small offering of some food on the charitable level, for charity begins at home. And charity covers a multitude of sin. We are not doing this charitable cause and speaking about it like we're looking for some sort of gratification.
Yes, sir.
But we're only mentioning it so that one can be aware of what we're going to be doing for those 3 days. A part of that second day would be July 23rd, which would be the Thursday itself, leading into Friday and Saturday, going into Sunday, which is a Boro Market Day, which would be also an extension to the program where we may have some presentations there, you know, some guest speakers there, you know, some healers will be there, you know, some musicians and some poets will be there, delivering wise mind and, you know, the eloquent words, you know. We give thanks for the community, you know, for coming together, for listening to us, for even taking the time to just sit with us at this moment, you know. It's just as natural as we want it to be. Yet there's many of us, because everyone represented by families and by a whole host of a greater community that is looking on to us. So we give thanks for being able to curtail this movement here on July 23rd, which is a landmark, a holy day, celebration day, ceremonial day for us as Rastafari people, to give thanks for the birth of His Majesty and the life that He have lived exemplary as the life of Christ Yeshua, that He has taught us to walk in His footsteps and not to worship Him as a God in the sky like a deity, but to give Him that honor and that glory to our works, you know. Our faith without works is vain. Faith without works is dead. And we dealing with no corpse. We're dealing with living temples, living body, living goodies, you know. Not a body, but a goodie. So the voice of the people is the voice of Jah Rastafari. And the people all over the world and all over the planet say, if there's no justice, there's no peace. So we as Rastafari realize what is taking place on a global scale. And that is why we are here taking this time to reason, sit together, meditate, and full joy a moment, you know, in time with you, wherever you may be. And we give thanks and appreciate of that. Rastafari.
Rastafari. So give thanks, nation. We will take a 2 to 3 minute break and we shall return to seal up. So hold tight. Don't go no place. One love. Rastafari.
Yeah, but sometimes this one, I tell you about the Gideon boot. So when you get a Gideon boot, right, you now step in with it. Sage green. So what she said there, Puerto Rico. She's gonna order them for us. I think she got pulled, so she could get that.
Oh. 2 minutes. Five to six. Hi, people. So we're back.
Rastafari.
So, we're gonna sail off in the last 15 minutes of the program, and I want to mention some things that were reasoned about at the meeting yesterday amongst the Rastafari Community in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. We have set up various committees for the Rastafari Conference on the 23rd. And presently, as far as I know, the location will be Bordeaux, right? Bordeaux, where every year, they have the Rastafari Fair, which is at the tennis court, right next to the bus stop. Everyone knows as the Rasta grounds or the Rastafari grounds. So at least that's a central location to keep in mind. And I want to say that various committees have been set up. We have the entertainment committee, we have the cleanup committee, we have the promotions committee, we have the education committee, we have the health committee, we have the agriculture committee, we have the programs committee, we have the youth activity committee, right? And so every committee shall report on their activities, right? Is it the last Sunday coming? Right. Right. So every Sunday we will have a report from each committee as to how they're fine-tuning that aspect of the conference and what's going to be happening for various aspects of the conference. Now, one thing I want to mention, as the item know I and I for music as a reggae artist, performer, and songwriter Nayora. But I also want to let the item know that I'm also the CEO of Rise Above Them Publishing. Also the executive director of Rastafari Herbal Products, LLC. Also, I'm a YouTuber, as you guys can see on the YouTube channel Nayora TV, and a co-founder of the Total Ital movement here. And I'm also here with two other co-founders, Ras Bobby and Ambassador 7, along with Haile Israel. Give thanks and praise to the elder, but he's here with us in spirit. For he has some spiritual matters to actually attend to at the moment. So I want to say, that the musical aspect And I want to touch on this for 2 to 3 minutes quickly. I know many Rastas out there, you love music or you have interest in music. On July 19th, I and I, Nayora, will be teaching an educational course right here at the Island Roots Vegan Restaurant on the music business. So this is called the Beautiful Soul Music Business Educational Course that I will be hosting or teaching here on July 19th, 2020. It's a Sunday, July 19th, 2020. I really need for the item to overs this. I want to help those involved in the music in the Virgin Islands, and I will be teaching the business aspect, the things companies and labels will not teach you. My last 2 singles I have released, one called Beautiful Soul, which was also produced, the musical aspect, the guitar riff, the acoustic aspect was produced by Ali Israel, and also Stomp on Corona. Beautiful Soul and Stomp on Corona. So I'm asking the people to go and support that. But those 2 singles specifically are owned by I and I. I've pushed them out into the world. I'm doing what labels do because I have the knowledge of the music industry. Split sheets, copywriting your alias, and also copywriting your songs and so on and so forth. Your performance rights organization sign up, sound exchange, and how you can benefit as a master owner of your music and also as an artist, sound exchange. How you can also learn about the ISRC codes and the ISWC codes and how we could fuse them together. The international standard recording codes and the international standard work codes, how we could fuse that together. I'll also be speaking about how to submit your music and how the importance of getting your music on your digital platforms and how important digital distribution is at this time, and how you could get your music on platforms like Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, Deezer, Napstar, Rhapsody, so on and so forth, Tidal, and so on and so forth. So I'm bringing the music business education, which will be a key element to actually change many things within the reggae industry. Because little do ones know, many artists, musicians, and so on and so forth have been exploited, even some producers, but a lot of artists specifically have been exploited. Artists in the Virgin Islands, you have intellectual property rights. You own intellectual property. The songs you write are intellectual property. You're much more than an artist and performer. You are also songwriters, and songwriters own their property. So I'm going to be teaching this knowledge about the metadata underneath the tracks. So how to have your information underneath your digital recordings and so on and so forth. So I ask those of you who are tuning in to go to www.nayoramusic.digital. Nayora, N-I-Y-O-R-A-H, music.digital. And sign up for the course. There's a fee for it. It's an investment because this is critical knowledge. It's taken I and my partners some time to get this knowledge together, organized, to disseminate it to the people. I'll also have an intellectual property lawyer, a metadata specialist, a label owner, and another artist as well. And I'll be performing the acoustic for Beautiful Soul. So please go to nayoramusic.digital, N-I-Y-O-R-A-H, music.digital, and sign up for the musical course. So that's just my piece. In sealing up, I would ask that Brother Bassa say one more piece, and then we shall seal up with a prayer from Ras Bobby, and we shall seal the program this evening. And as a matter of fact, even before that he shall mention 1 or 2 things in regards to the Rastafari Conference, July 23rd, 2020, before we seal things up.
I just want to say give thanks, Nayora, give thanks to Ras Bobby for another night coming together. Reasonment is better than preaching. We can reason from now until eternity, that we have many matters to touch on that is imperative at this time. We give thanks for the listening here at the community and the people, and give thanks for the opportunity the Most High have given us with the breath of life through this day, with His guidance, with His protection, guiding and I from all seen and unseen harm and danger, all gins and all snares, you know, and all obstacles that are before us, whether seen or unseen. So we give thanks to brother, you know, because we know the journey of real life, you know, that we are on, you know, the journey of the ups and downs, you know, the ins and outs, the little ebbs and flows, you know. But we're very thankful for those things, you know what I mean, in the name of Rastafari. So I want to say just give thanks and praise again, brethren, you know.
Rastafari, give thanks, you know. And before Daddy starts, I want to say big up, you know, to the brothers from Italy and all over the world, Costa Rica, Africa, America, you know, listening, other Caribbean islands, locally. Give thanks for listening. We just got to big up all the way from Italy, actually. Nespal, big up yourself, you know, big up yourself. And I want to big up, yes, sister, for we be hawk. Yeah, man, give thanks. Los F. Yeah, man, Nespal, give thanks. Highly Israel, give thanks. All ones give thanks, you know. Jah, Rastafari. So, Daddy.
Yeah, so we absolutely happy for the connection that we have with whoever has been listening. Our intention is to just keep sharing information because this is the information age. The idea is for us to go inside, you know, to focus just on your breath. Keep focusing on your breath, but have a plan every day. And that plan is to serve others genuinely. And once we can do that, we're safe. We have a beautiful session that we expect to have from July the 23rd to the 26th. On Thursday the 23rd, our session begins at 3 p.m. where we're going to have a Nyabingi, and we expect to have a Nyabingi session with all the houses of Rastafari. We're not denominational. The following day, which is Friday, we're going to have a rally. So all the crucial points that our meetings have brought forth in terms of our need to reason about, we're going to have specific people talking about agriculture, about culture, about economics, about education, all the aspects relating to the committees that we have formed. We want the people to know that the following day, Saturday, is a whole day of reasoning, poetry, and entertainment. So we have 3 full days of celebrations. The day afterwards, which is the 26th, we grow food usually have the farmers market. As you know how important it is to go out to eat and to eat what we grow. And so the session continues for the 4th day, which is the 26th. Most of the session is going to be done at Bordeaux. We were hoping we probably could have something at the Emancipation Garden if we are allowed to. But considering the quagmire that we're in right now, we're not too sure of whether we can do that, but we're always sure that we can do that at the farmers market in Bordeaux. Various committees have been set up. We're having meetings every Sunday. So this Sunday, the 28th, we're going to have another meeting at Bordeaux from 2 to 4. We're not wasting anybody's time. We're starting at 2 and we're finishing at 4. So 2 hours of reasoning consistent with what we've discussed during the week. So all those people who are parts of committees, the idea is for you to get together with your chairperson this week. So hopefully the chairperson will contact you to have a reasoning about what specifically that committee is doing or has done for the week. And those reports will be given on the Sunday. So again, the committees are Education Committee chaired by Ambassador 7, the Agriculture Committee chaired by Ras Aimani, the Entertainment Committee chaired by Ras Shanaka, the Programming Committee chaired by Ali Mo, the Cleansing or the Clearing Committee will be chaired by Zimba, and the Youth Committee, people who take care of the children for the 4 days, will be chaired by Sister Benita, and the Health Committee will be chaired by Ras Bobby. We want the Rastas to know that everybody is still invited to come on Sunday and be part of our committee if need be, because this is a communal effort for all of us. We give thanks to Rastafari, we give thanks to the Rasta community, remembering, of course, that we are on a journey to be healed and the journey is within. So we're having a revival for survival by journeying within and not too much without. Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari.
Yes, so in the seal up of things, just like the Bobo, bless it. I'd like the Bobo to end it the same way. Ambassador 7, if you want to seal it up, that would be great.
Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose firm and dare to make it known. Many mighty men around us falling, daring not to stand. Who forgot Amlak had been won by joining Daniel's number 1 man, Naya Bingiara, starting to the land. Overthrow the face giant, lick him down, Give thanks and praise continually for the circle of life, for the family, for the father, the mother, and the child, the sun, the moon, the stars. Give thanks and praise for the earthquake, the lightning, and the thunder, the thunder, the bass, and the kete. Give thanks for the 16 trinities. Give thanks for our eclipse, as we can see the moon over Lalibela. Give thanks for the eclipse, the fiery eclipse, standing over the 11 rock churches hewn in Ethiopia out of the rock mountain. Historic for the world to see. There's a lot of mistakes taking place amongst INI people, and we have to be in tune with the Creator. Come out of the technosphere and enter into the biosphere time with the Creator, 3 dimension, 5th dimension, 5th epoch, 5th kingdom of Jesus Emmanuel Yeshua, 5-pointed star nation, Black Ghana, Black Liberia, Black Senegal. Yes, give thanks, Black Ethiopia. Give thanks for the Black House of Israelite, But we want a Black House, We say the Black House is the right house and not the White House. And that is no disrespect to anyone. We said black is love, black supremacy is not hate, separation and segregation, and destruction, and robbery and plunder. We said black supremacy is love, peace and love, sharing and caring, joy and happiness, preservation of life. Black supremacy shall cover the earth as righteousness cover the sea. As the waters cover the sea. Give thanks and praise for the Most High, for the majesty. Give thanks for the listening ear and for the eyes that see. Praises be unto the Almighty.
Selassie, Jah Rastafari. And big up to the children and the black woman. Big up to the children and the black women out there, the goddesses of earth.
You have a nation without them, that's true.
Give thanks to the elders. Yeah. One love. Give thanks to the animals, the trees. Give thanks to the whole earth. Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari. One love to the world. Give thanks. And we shall be doing our next total Ital. What's three Mondays from now? Can you get that date for me, please? Give me 1 second. I'm going to disclose the date of the next total Ital so you can tune in. It's going to be at 7 p.m. as well on a Monday. Yeah, man. 7 p.m. on a Monday.
13th is the 13th.
Okay, the 13th?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the next total Ital will be June 13th. Sorry, July. My apologies. The next total Ital is going to be July 13th. Save it. Save that date. 7 p.m. July 13th. Yeah, to the 22nd of June. So July 13th, make sure you tune in. All right? This is Rastafari, the Caribbean herbalist. Ambassador 7 from the EABIC, and yours truly, Nayora, saying, give thanks and praise for life, health, and strength. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that were disciplined to stay, We appreciate you. We appreciate y'all. One universal love. Aliyah, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. One universal love. Blessings and peace.